I'm back. It's good to see you all. I had a great time on my vacation, although I'm still I think I need a vacation from the vacation, if you know what I mean. We were very, very busy and traveled all over Ireland and Scotland. Had a great time. We were very fortunate. The weather was wonderful. They were actually having a heat wave while we were there. For us, it was wonderful. It was like in the high 60s, low 70s, and perfect weather for traveling around. We had rain the first day and the last day, but in between it was just gorgeous. And when it did rain, it didn't rain very much. So you can see I finished my sweater on the trip. And I have not sewn the buttons on. In fact, I have some buttons, but I'm not sure that they're the ones that I really want. So you can see how my sweater looks. I like it a lot. It's been a love-hate relationship, which I'm sure you've experienced before in sweaters. You always have those points where you're going, oh my God, this is going to look horrible. It's never going to work out. It's not going to fit. I have all those feelings too. So you're not alone. There were some times when I was just going to chuck it. In fact, after I put the front bands on and they were still all puckery, they hadn't been blocked yet, I almost put it in the box to send it to the Goodwill. That was like yesterday. So then because I knew I had to show it today, I had to block the bands. And it's so pretty. I love it. I just love it. So hello, everyone. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. Let me say hello to people. Bonnie, hi. Kelly, my cat, Anne Tremolliers, Fatima, who seems to be traveling all over the world. I love following her on Facebook. Rebecca Cinco, Carol Brasino, Deborah Cisneros, Francoise, hello. Deborah Cisneros, Nancy Porter, Rona Shane, Katerina Continental Combined, Julie Hertel, Lisa Quiltsalot, Catherine, that's Katharina again, Sylvia Earl, Carol Corcoran, Kathy Mashburn. Hello, Kathy. Kathy was one of our group of 13. Just a second, my husband's calling me. I'm live streaming right now. Can I call you back in a little bit? Okay. Okay, bye. Okay. Let's see, Jane Hart, Adriana, Margit, Kathy, Caitlin, Kathy from Australia, Caitlin Joe, Danielle Piet, Sahava Dimpovich, E.T. Guerrero. So hello, aloha, hello everybody. So first, let me show you the yarn I got and talk a little bit about my trip. If you have questions, be sure to post them over here in the chat. Start it by putting the word question in all caps. That makes it easier for me to find. Hello, Priscilla. And then I'll go back and look at, so I'm going to chit chat for a little while. I'll give you some time to ask your questions. So in Dublin, we arrived in Dublin I got there on Sunday because I went a day early because I always get really bad jet lag. So I got there on Sunday and kind of slept all day. Then on Monday, the rest of the gang got there. There were 13 of us from Bakersfield, 13 knitters. Can you imagine that? And believe me, we all came home friends. Nobody had a big cat fight or anything. We had a wonderful time, although we are all exhausted. So everyone got there on Monday. And it was a bank holiday. And so most everything was closed. We did find one yarn store open in Dublin, and that it was called This Is Knit. And it was the cutest little yarn store. It was adorable. So I got these yarns. These are not dyed or made in Ireland, but I hadn't seen them before, although I've seen a lot of these types of yarns where they're slow dyed, slow transition, color changes. This is called Billum, hand-dyed natural yarns. The yarn name is Slicka. It's 80% wool, 20% silk, 400 meters. And this is two different colorways. I chose them to go together. So I'm using this one from the inside, no, from the outside, the yellow. And I'm using this one from the inside, the kind of brown there. And I'm doing this, I started knitting a scarf with it. So it's double knitting, and it's kind of a memento of the trip. So I started out here with the yellow and the kind of grayish green, and I put my initials in it. See that? SB 2019. I had no idea what I was going to do at this point, so I just started making little squares and transitioning them up into bigger squares. And then I made some hexagons and thought I could use this for the Giant's Causeway, you know, where they have those hexagonal pieces of stone that come up. So that's representative of that. And then, of course, shamrocks. Then some thistles. Then I used my hexagons. All I did was add feet. I lowered the nose, the center dot, down one square and added ears, and I made little sheep. It's the exact same thing as these hexagons. I just added legs and ears. Aren't those cute? Then bigger sheep. Then back to my squares because I didn't know what to do yet, and I wasn't halfway. I wanted to do the scarf, so it's halfway. I use half the yarn, so I've been weighing the yarn. And then I'm going to go down the other side and reverse not these images, but the images I use on the other side will be so that they're right side up when you're wearing it. So when it's over here, it's right side up. So now I've got, I did this plaid. This I think is going to be around the back neck here. And I'm getting ready to come down the other side. So I'm going to put some Scotty dogs on there. I'm going to try to do the lion and maybe some unicorns down the other side. So isn't that cool? So here's my yarns, what I'm using. So now I'm on the green, see in the red, that's what here. And then this will go into the blue and into the orange and yellow. And I can't wait to get to that part. It's going to be so pretty. So it's been very fun. I knitted most of this. I knitted up to about right here on the trip. I've done this part since I got home. Pretty cool, huh? So that's that yarn. Then I also got at that same shop, this is knit. I got this yarn, Ulan, Olanne. And it's kind of one of those speckled yarns. This one is sock light. So it's 80% merino, 20% nylon. I liked it. I just got 2 skeins of that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I have no idea, but I liked it. And so then we traveled all around, you know, we went around the bottom of Scotland. We went down, we went to the Waterford Crystal Place, and we went around the Ring of Kerry, and then we went to Galway. And there were some yarn stores in Galway, but when we were there, we didn't have much time, and I didn't make it to any of them. I did go to, I don't remember where I went there, but it was, you know, the thing is that all of Ireland is so green and lush and so beautiful and so neat and tidy. There's no graffiti. There's no garbage anywhere. It was unbelievably clean, tidy. It makes you want to move there. So pretty. So I see Renee on here. Renee was with us. Hello, Renee. Let's see. Then we went up to the north part and went to Londonderry. We went to Belfast. We did go to Blarney's Castle, and I got yarn there too. Let's see. That's where, you know, you never know where you're going to run into yarn. There was no yarn store. It was like in the tourist shopping center, but they had really, really nice yarn. So I got this for hedgehog fibers. Now, we don't get hedgehog fibers here. I've heard about it and I've seen it, but where I live, we do not get this yarn, and I hear it's in high demand. So I got some. This is the sock yarn. This just, guess what? I got orange. Isn't this one pretty? It's my colors, and doesn't it look like this? You know, it's like I try to be different. I try so hard to pick something that's outside my comfort range, and the harder I try, the more it stays in my comfort zone. But this is called Fool's Gold, and this is 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon. Isn't that pretty? So I got 4 skeins of this and 4 skeins of this, and I think I'm going to do either color work with it, you know, like stranded knitting, or maybe some brioche. I'm really wanting to do a brioche sweater, so that might be for that. And let's see. Then we went to Scotland, and we went all around Scotland. When we got to Edinburgh, I'm saying it better, I think. There were 3 yarn stores open. It was on Sunday, of course, and 2 of the 3 yarn stores, 2 of them were open. One was within range of where we were walking, so we went there, and it was called Ginger Twist Studio. And the majority of the yarn that's in that studio is dyed by the owner. And so I got some, of course. This is Ginger's hand-dyed Yakety Yak 4-ply, and this is 60% merino, 20% yak, 20% silk, and it's fingering weight. I got this color, and she calls this Au Natural, and the young lady working there said this was a natural color. It may be. It's kind of grayish to me, but maybe if the yak is that gray. I don't think the merino wool is that gray. And then I got this color. So I got these. Do something with that. I have no idea what, but I'll do something with it. So what was the highlight of my trip? The highlight of the trip was the sheepdogs. We saw some working sheepdogs. This shepherd, he had like 12 dogs, and it was out in the country, and these dogs, the way they work together was unbelievable. I've seen sheep herding with one dog. I've seen sheep herding contests with one dog, but I've never seen 12 dogs all work at the same time. It was amazing. And total concentration between those dogs and the shepherd. It was just amazing. And he had 2 8-week-old puppies, one of which he's going to keep, that were out there. And it was only the 3rd time that they had been with the sheep. They acted just like the big dogs. They were amazing. They just were honed in. They didn't run up to the sheep or nip at them. You know, they're just, but he said it takes them 2 years to train a dog. So they hadn't even hardly begun their training yet. They were so cute. They were border collie mixes. He said the mixes make better dogs. And of the 2 puppies, one of them was less attractive than the other. He said the ugly one was the best one. They were there. Then he had 4-day-old puppies that we got to see. They were so cute. Oh my goodness. So let's see. As far as shopping, you know, because we were on a tour, they always take you to what I call tourist places, and that is not my favorite kind of shopping. And I'm really not a shopper. Like when I'm at home, I shop online, and I only buy things to replace something that I have. I don't, other than yarn, I don't accumulate a lot of stuff. So there was a lot of that touristy kind of shopping, but when we were in Edinburgh the last day, we found some really cool places. The one that I liked the best was called Ragamuffin. I don't know if any of you have heard that shop, but they sell everything they have in the store is made in Ireland or Scotland. And it's all hand artisan type work, just unbelievably beautiful, beautiful things. And I got several things there. I got my hats there. I got this sweater, and I don't usually buy, sweaters like this, but I love this construction on this. I'm sure it's machine knit, although it could easily be hand knit. It's knit from the bottom up. It's all in the round. There's not one single seam in it. There's no picked up stitches anywhere. And it has the most interesting underarm construction. So this is the sleeve. Let me unfold it so you can see it. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the body coming up. Here's the two, the raglans from the body coming together. And then the sleeve just comes off of this. Isn't that interesting? And this is like right in here, it's like a central double decrease right up where it pulls the two sides together. Also up here, you know, it comes up here and decreases, and it's like a raglan, but then all of a sudden, all the decreases are on the body side, so it just makes it turn this way. And it's kind of a modified raglan, comes up here. But it's very, very interesting construction. So I bought it. I like it. It fits me really, really good. But I also like the construction. And I think that, you know, I said I wanted to do a brioche sweater. I was thinking of maybe trying to use some of these construction techniques in putting together a brioche sweater. So it's kind of cool. I had never seen an underarm like this before. I also took lots of pictures of other knitting. There was some double knitting that was really pretty. It was machine, I'm sure, but it was like completely double fabric on one side, and on the front be double fabric and then a section bound off and start a new section. So it made like little flaps up the front. It was really kind of cute. So those things were kind of interesting. Let me see. Think of other highlights. I think that's all the yarn I got and everything that I was working on. So I saw while I was gone that a lot of you have been posting your yoke sweaters, and there are some people who are even posting their ITAG cardigans. It takes a Guild cardigan, finished cardigans. They're just beautiful, 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 beautiful. And they look good on everybody. And all different sizes of bodies, they look good. So that's been very heartwarming for me to see that they turn out. And I know that there are people who get frustrated when they're knitting. I get frustrated too, and I want to just chuck it, but I persist, and usually things turn out. This sweater, this is the biggest doubts I've had about any sweater that I've knit in a long time. And I really had my doubts, but I like it. It came out good. And I'm going to take it off because I'm getting really warm. In Bakersfield, it's in the 80s today, Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's see if anybody's asked any questions over here, okay? I think I have covered everything I had out here. I can't wait to work with these together. I think that is going to look so cool. I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be brioche and probably a sweater. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions over here, okay? Oh, let me go to Ravelry first. I think there was one that was a good question. This is from Miss Nook Chili. She's doing her yoke sweater, and she added some short row shaping down to the bottom, thinking that it would make it, you know, come down. But what it did is it pooched out in the front instead. And she posted a picture. And what it looks like on the picture to me is that she did not go out far enough to the sides. It looks like when she was making the short rows, it looks like they start in here and they're going like this. So this kind of pooches out like this. I think it would be better if you're on here, if you start your short rows out here and do the longest short row first, and then the next, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and then come all the way around. And that'll allow it to come down like this. If you do the shortest short row first, you have to think about it. And then the longer, I think it's going to make the fabric come out like this. And that might be what happened. Try it on a swatch, a big swatch first before you try it on your sweater. Okay, so that's the one from Ravelry. Remember, if you have a question, put it over here. Put the word question in all caps so I can see it. And I hope it was no problem switching from Sunday to Saturday. It works better for me. Hello from Newcastle, Washington. Susan Day. Hello. Jeannie Bishop. Renee Carroll. Olga Alvarez. Hi. Glad to got this time. I have a question that has to do with the class. I finished the swatches but not fit the ones that are in yarn label. I have not got the one that it's drying. I want needle 4.4 for this 4.5 for the sweater I'm making my grandson. I'm not sure what you're asking, but it's more important to get the gauge that you need than the needle size. So if you're following a specific pattern, and the pattern says to use a 4.5 needle, and what the gauge should be, it's more important to get the gauge stated than it is to use that size needle. So if you need to go down a size or up a size, it doesn't really matter. The gauge is what's most important. And sometimes you have to make more than one swatch to do that. Okay. Oh, Caitlin Jo says she does the same with blue and green yarn. You just keep picking the same things over and over, thinking you don't have any of that. Oh, Valerie Dunham says I could do a 16-point star on my scarf like the Waterford Symbol. That's interesting. That's a good suggestion. Thank you, because I'm trying to think of things to add. I don't want to like duplicate. I did not. Margit Jeet wanted to know if we got to visit a fabric store. I did not get to. I didn't have as much time to do that type of stuff as I would like to have. We had to kind of stick with our schedule. We were with a bigger group. Next time, I think we're going to go in a smaller group. We all want to do it again. And I don't know that we'll go to Ireland and Scotland again. We may go somewhere different. But I think we might decide to have a little more control over our schedule so that we can actually visit more of the things that we're interested in. Let's see. I don't see any questions. Okay, so, oh, here we go. Rona Shane says, oh, Deborah Cisneros has a comment. I like the sweater too, the yarn, the design, construction as well. It would be nice to learn some of those techniques. Exactly. I want to deconstruct it, and I plan to do that. And if I do, I'll let you all in on it for sure. Rona Shane question, are you still going to do the swatches project? Yes, I am. And I think I've decided that the first set are going to be cables. And it will probably be later in June that I started. I need to really focus on my boot camp knitting 1 class first. I want to get that underway, and then I'll work on the swatches one. And I've decided on a cable because it'll be pretty, but there's lots of cool things I can teach you about cables. Plus we can embroider our cables like I did on my sweater. And I think that will be really fun. Okay. And it really helps to know that YouTube sometimes just got my yarn for the yoke sweater, but first I promised my daughter would make an ITAG cardigan for her. Caitlin Jo question, what was your favorite location to knit on your trip? In a pub. We visited a lot of pubs. We drank a lot of beer and other things. And it was like one big weekend-long retreat with my knitting friends. And we knitted everywhere. And people took pictures of us knitting like they'd never seen a group of people knitting before. And they said, do you do this all the time? Well, of course we do that all the time. Why wouldn't we? It's your favorite thing you can carry around with you and do it anywhere at any time. Why wouldn't you? Oh, that would be fun, Fatima. Fatima says you can visit Portugal. I can be your guide, a no touristic tour. For sure, we can organize visiting wool factories and shops and good food, good weather, and knitting. That would be fun. Yeah, it would be in the spring, like this time next year. I think that's a good time no matter where we go. It's not too hot or too cold. And that would be fun. I'll have to talk to my friends. Some of them are on here. They can speak up. Um, anyway, so we had a really good time. And I still have a couple of videos to finish up for the ITAG yoke. I have the one for the tab front. I have the tab knit. And I'm going to put the tab on live in the video. So I've got to do that. It'll probably be on Monday. I'm still recovering, although jet lag for me coming west from the east is not as severe as going to the east from the west, but my brain still feels kind of foggy, if you know what I mean. Wouldn't that be fun? Sue says, Fatima, I would love to come. Now, I don't know how many people we could get together, but wouldn't that be fun? Oh, my goodness. It might be overwhelming. Okay, so Leanna Mitchell says, hello, can you please explain what the swatches and the boot camp are? Thank you. The swatches are going to be a tutorial knit along, and there'll be a set of 5 for each section. For example, the cable section will be first. So there'll be 5 swatches. One of them will be 14 by 14. The other 4 will be 7 by 7. So that if you wanted to, you could put the 7 by 7s together and make a 14 by 14 piece and make a pillow. Or you could make a little lap blanket. Or when we do more of different types of needle knitting techniques, you could put more swatches together and make a quilt or a blanket, or you could line them up as like a scarf or cowl. But each set will be 5 swatches, 4 7 by 7s and 1 14 by 14. And I will show you, for example, the cables. We'd probably start with the 7 by 7 and just do a basic cable swatch. And so you can learn cabling without a cable needle, cabling with a cable needle, how to count rows between the cable crossings, how to identify your stitches, how to fix mistakes, how to drop down to fix mistakes in cables, how to cut the fabric to fix mistakes in cables, and stuff like that. So the first swatch would be all of those things. The other 3, like one of them could be embroidering the cables, maybe one of them could be Bavarian twisted stitch type cables, and like that. And then the big 14 by 14 would be cables in the round. So we could go around. So there would be increases, and how to incorporate the cables as the fabric gets bigger, how to add more cables and make it fit in. So it's more of shaping in cables. And so each swatch section would be something like that. For example, let's say we do stranded knitting. The 7 by 7s, 2 of them could be worked at the same time with steeks. So you learn how to make steeks and cut the steeks and finish them. Maybe 2 of them could be worked flat. So you learn how to do stranded knitting flat. And the big one would be in the round, but with the increases in how to shaping and adding the stitch pattern into the swatch, etc., etc. I think I won't do more than 2 a summer. These are going to be summertime projects, and in the winter we can do the sweaters. But so it's fun. It keeps me on my toes, and I think everybody will enjoy it. So let me see if there's any more questions. Yes, Jean Bishop. Is it Jeannie or Jean? Let me know. Do you have a video on cleaning up edge stitches? I'm finishing up a sweater knit in pieces, and the edge stitches are sloppy unless I twist them. I'm sure you have a better idea. I have a whole blog post about, go to Suzanne, just www.suzannebryan. It's a blog. I have a whole thing there about edge stitches, and I do have a video on edge stitches. It's called Enlarged Last Bind Off Stitch because it's related. The enlarged last bind off stitch and messy edge stitches are related to each other. So look for that. And when Diana's on here and does the timestamps for the live stream. You'll be able to click on that video in the live stream, okay? Okay, where is your class? Who is joining them and how? Okay, so the classes are online unless you live in Bakersfield. If you live in Bakersfield, California, I do have classes at our local yarn store, but I also do my tutorials online. The boot camp is a 10-week course, 10 sections with lots of homework, and it starts from ground zero and works in a progressive manner of how to knit, how to finesse your knitting, all the basic groundwork, including how to read a pattern, how to read charts, how to convert charts to written patterns, how to convert written patterns to charts, that type of stuff. So it's very basic, but it's in depth. It's highly in depth. You will be a skilled knitter. I've had many, many people who've been knitting for 30, 40 years, their whole lives, take my boot camp classes and learn. They say they learn more in that class than they learned in all the years that they've been knitting. So there's boot camp 1 and boot camp 2. Each one of them is a 10-week course. And so I'm kind of beefing those up, and I'm going to get this set to go online this summer. I think you'll be able to purchase them from my blog page. I have to set that up, but I have a lot of work to do before they're ready to go online. And Carol Corcoran says, just wanted to say your moderators were so helpful with me on getting my Zweig started. Yes, they're very cool. Demetria is awesome. Demetria is so cool at understanding stitch anatomy and construction. And Amanda is also very, she's literary. She's very, very good at understanding construction. So they're very helpful. Okay, Carol Brasino, question. I love your pocket design. Have you decided whether to sell a pattern for it to go with a bottom-up sweater? Yes, I will. It's on my list. Just haven't enough time. I have it all written up, but it's for 5 stitches to the inch. And I want to make it so that you can use it for any stitch gauge. It wouldn't take a lot of work, but it does take work. It means I've got to sit down and figure it out and write it up. Valerie Dunham, question, would you consider doing your boot camp class on here? That's kind of what it's going to be like. What it's going to be like is I'm going to have hour-long video sessions where I'm speaking to you individually, but it'll only be accessible to people who purchase the class. And so there'll be 10 hour-long sessions. And the way I run my class live is I teach new material. And so it would be me talking to you like this, but then there would be segments where you're looking down at my hands and seeing what I'm teaching you. And then you try it. You try what I'm doing. You do it with me. And like week 1 is you learn how to do the long tail cast on, and you learn how to make a knit stitch. And that takes 2 hours live to teach people that. It seems like it, even people who've been knitting before, because what I teach you are the particulars about the long tail cast on. So you truly understand it instead of just doing it by rote. You understand why you're doing it the way you're doing and how to manipulate it and how to make it do what you want to do. Then you have homework. The homework is casting on and working a swatch in garter stitch for 4 inches. You cast on 20 stitches and you work 4 inches in garter stitch. The next week you come back, or the next session when you're ready to do it, and I review that, and I will have samples to show of the things that can go wrong and what you do to correct them. So if your swatch looks like any of those samples, you'll see, oh, that's what's happening. That's why that's happening that way. And this is how you fix it. And I will go over all of those little things. And then I review the casting on again. And then we learn how to make a purl stitch and how to bind off. And then week 3, and you have homework, week 3, I review all of that and I show what can go wrong and how to fix it. So as we go along, everything that I teach you the mistakes that can happen, why they happen, how to prevent them, or how to fix them. And it builds on itself. The 3rd week, we learn some we start learning ribbing. So you learn knit 1, knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, knit 1, purl 1 ribbing, and seed stitch in week 3. and I teach you how to make tidy seed stitch, which you would not believe the seed stitch that I see from people coming in who've been knitting for years and years, but they just didn't know. They haven't had anybody show them. So it's a big sales thing here, huh? It's turned into a sales thing. So, okay, let's see. Caitlin Joe, question. I've had the dream forever to knit a twin full-size blanket, but no matter the yarn needle size, I'm not sure if a 40-inch circular needle would be large enough. Is there a length you'd recommend? 40-inch should be fine. You can get a lot of stitches on a 40-inch needle. And if you use a longer needle, it just gets really cumbersome. I mean, you spend a lot of time shuffling the stitches along the cable. 40 inches should be good. You should be good. Zahava Zimbowicz, question, can a new knitter join in and get it? If you're talking about the boot camps, yes. I've taught a lot of people who've never held yarn or needles in their hands before how to knit. So when I teach these, when I do the online thing like this, only it won't be online, it'll be recorded, but you'll feel like it's online because I'll be speaking to you. I show you exactly what to do and how to hold the yarn and how to get started. I show you continental and throwing, and you can do it however you want to do it. I teach both ways all the way through the whole course. I teach both ways. Any other questions? Okay, this might be a really short one today. I'm really glad to be back. I'm still getting up to speed and getting motivated. Most of this week I've been just doing pretty much nothing, reading. I've been trying to catch up on the comments on Ravelry and Facebook. I do a little bit every once in a while because it can get overwhelming. And yes, I have answered the questions from Ravelry. There was only one. Let me look again. Let me look and see if there's any more. I'll update it. Nope, that was all. And let's see. So we're going to do Saturdays now at 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. That works better, I think. And no more Wednesdays until we need them. The Wednesdays will be as we need them. Like if we're working on a project and we need more intense, quick information, then we'll put the Wednesdays back on again. But right now, it's just going to be Saturdays for a while, maybe all summer, because I really want to spend some time working, beefing up my boot camp materials. And I need to have the energy in my mind to do it because it's something that I just really have to focus on to get it done. Okay, I answered your question, Miss Nook Chili, about the short row shaping in the front. So let me go over it again. It looks to me like on your picture that your short rows start in here and come this way. I think it would look better if they start way out here on the side. And let me look at your picture again. It looks like, let me get up really close. Let me enlarge this. Zoom in. Zoom in. It looks like that the short rows, that you did the longest short row first, that's good. And coming down to the shortest short rows, and then you did your ribbing. I think that the only thing that I would do differently is I would start them way out here and maybe not bring them so much far in here, but make them just come right in here like this. Actually, they'd be down here like this. You know how you've seen shirts, how they split right here and it'll curve right here and curve right here? That curve is where you would want the ends of your short rows to come, way out here. So it'll seem like they're coming further apart, but that will give you, the front of your shirt will come down like this rather than like this. Yours is coming like this, which makes it want to bunch up right here. So does that sound like the short rows are on the side? Do you see? Yeah. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Yes. So I've done short rows on garments like that before, and you do need to, you just focus on, here's my side seam. Actually, here's the side seam of my shirt right here. So it would curve around right here. This is the shortest short row would probably be right here. The longest one would be here. That's the side. And then if you wanted to do the same for the back, you could. It'd be kind of cute. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so today is just going to be a short day. It's really fun seeing you all. I want to get back and work on my scarf. Isn't that plaid cute? I just love it. And this part's going to be like, it's going to be like a Greek thing that goes around and around and around, only it's Celtic. I was going to show you. So I have this book. I knew I had it. Celtic Charted Designs. So I just started looking at it this morning. That's where I got the design that I'm going to do next. I'll show you what it's going to look like. It's going to look like, and this is like for cross stitch, if for any kind of needlework, you could use this charting book. It's very interesting how he or she has made it. Here's what I'm going to do in the next section, just this part right here. It's going to be in the next section. But see, it's all these charts. And what's cool is the person who designed it, like this is chart 57, here's chart 58. And they just make one alteration from here to here. And it makes that change. Then one alteration from here to here, it makes that change. So it's how these charts evolve. Do you see that? So this is the book. Celtic Charted Designs, Spinhaven. Now, one of the places where I buy my books, because I like them, is Schoolhouse Press. Schoolhouse Press has this. You could probably also get it on Amazon too. But you know, Meg Swanson owns Schoolhouse Press, and I like to give her my business because she gives us so much in return in the knitting world. Okay, Cookie Smith, the inside of your sweater looks like it had netting in the back. Oh, you saw that, huh? That's the pockets. Is that what you're talking about? That's called ladder back jacquard. And that's how I could get this little symbol in the middle of a plain fabric. Do you see that? There isn't any in here. This is just all normal inside. That's just my yoke. Question from Fatima. Is it acceptable to do short row sleeves top down in a drop shoulder body sweater? I think so. There's another book, you know, short row making the sleeves. It's by Barbara Walker, and it's called Top Down Knitting. Let me see. And she's the first one that I know of that described doing the sleeves that way, set in sleeve short down, top down, I mean with the short rows. I'm not seeing the book off the top of my head, although I know it's up here. Oh, here it is. Knitting from the Top. And it's an older book, and the designs are, you know, not current, but the concepts are fine. This was printed, original copy 1972. So this one was printed in 1996. But she actually is the first one that I know of that describes knitting a sleeve in all in one piece without setting it in. This is a good book to have. It's all top-down knitting. And it was way before Ann Budd's books. So Ann Budd may have gotten some of her information from this. Any other questions? Is there some way you could teach that to us? Cookie, are you talking about the ladder back jacquard? Yes, I'm going to make a video on it. It's very, very cool. It's not hard at all. It's just mysterious. But once you get the hang of it, you'll probably try to find a reason to use it because it's kind of fun. Okay. Amber, hello. She's just dropping by from England. We have such a cool community here. It's just so amazing. Anyway, we'll see you next Saturday here at 2 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time. And I hope you all can make it. I know that that's late over in Europe. I know it's like 11 o'clock at night. But I will need to find a time that's consistently good for me. And every 2 Saturdays a month, I have a guild meeting and social knitting and stuff like that. So 2 o'clock, it works good. Otherwise, it would be interrupting the other stuff. Okay, so happy knitting. We'll see you all next time. It was so good to see you again. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Don't drink and drive. Bye-bye.